Welcome to True.
The Dawn of Photography, a complete documentary video on the camera's invention and the world's 10 oldest surviving photographs. Section 1. Introduction. The camera did not appear in a single flash of genius. It was born from centuries of optical curiosity, chemical accidents, and relentless trial and error. The word camera itself comes from the Latin camera obscura, dark chamber, a phenomenon known to ancient Chinese and Greek scholars as early as the 4th century BCE, but it took until the 19th century for light to be captured permanently on a surface. This script tells that story through 10 surviving photographs, the oldest physical artifacts of a new art and science. These are not digital files or prints from negatives. They are unique chemical traces of light that fell on metal, glass, or paper between 1826 and 1844. We begin with Josephnicephoneniepce, a French inventor who spent a decade coating pewter plates with bitumen and exposing them in a camera obscura. His first success in 1826-27 produced View from the Window at Le Gras, the oldest photograph in existence. From there, we follow Louis-daguerre, who turned photography into a commercial miracle with the daguerreotype, William Henry Fox Talbot, who invented the negative-positive process, and Hippolyte Bayard, the forgotten pioneer who staged the first fictional photograph. Each of the next 10 sections is devoted to one photograph. You will learn when and where it was taken, how the process worked, step-by-step chemistry and optics, why it matters in the history of image making, how it survived nearly 2 centuries, where it rests today. By the end, you will hold in your mind the exact moment when humanity first froze light and time. Let us begin with the oldest. Section 2. View from the Window at Le Gras, 1826. 1827. Title: View from the Window at Le Gras. Creator: Josephnicephoneniepce. Year: 1826 or 1827. Most scholars accept late summer 1826. Location: Saint-Louis-de-Varennes, Burgundy, France. Process: heliography on pewter. Exposure time: approximately 8 hours, possibly longer. Current location: Harry Ransom Center, University of Texas at Austin. The man behind the plate, Josephnicephoneniepce, 1765-1833, was not a photographer by trade. He was a landowner, inventor, and amateur scientist, obsessed with lithography, printing images from stone. When he couldn't draw well enough to create lithographic stones, he decided to let light draw for him. The camera. Niepce used a camera obscura, a wooden box with a lens, likely from a microscope, inserted into a hole. The lens focused light onto a pewter plate, 86.5 inches, coated with Judean bitumen, a light-sensitive asphalt. Step-by-step process. Heliography. Coating. The pewter plate was polished, then coated with a thin layer of bitumen dissolved in lavender oil. Drying. The plate dried in darkness until tacky. Exposure. The plate was placed in the camera obscura, facing Niepce's upstairs window. Sunlight hardened the bitumen where it struck. Development. After 8+ hours, the plate was washed in a solvent, lavender oil petroleum. Unexposed bitumen dissolved, leaving bare metal. Fixing. The image was permanent, no further fixing needed. What the image shows. The photograph is faint but legible under strong raking light. Left, a pigeon house, dovecote, roof. Center, a pear tree and part of a barn. Right, a sloping roof and the sky, overexposed. The image is inverted and reversed, typical of camera obscura. Why 8 hours? Bitumen hardens very slowly. Niepce later wrote, "The sun must act for several hours. The long exposure meant moving objects vanished. Clouds, leaves, people. Only architecture survived." Survival story. 1827. Niepce stored the plate in a wooden box. 1833. Niepce died. His son Isidore inherited it. 1840s. The plate passed through family hands, nearly discarded. 1952. Historian Helmut Gernsheim rediscovered it in a trunk in England. 1963. Life magazine published it, first global reveal. 1973. The Gernsheims donated it to the University of Texas. Restoration display. 2002. The Getty Conservation Institute enhanced contrast using multispectral imaging. Today, housed in an anoxic case, no oxygen, at 16 degrees Celsius and 30% humidity. Historical significance. First permanent photograph. Proves light alone can create images. Marks The birth of photography as a chemical optical process. Niepce never lived to see photography become art or industry, but this pewter plate, smaller than a postcard, changed the world. Section 3. The set table. Still life with plaster casts. Approximately 1827. Title: Still life with plaster casts, also called the set table. Creator: josephnicephoneniepce. Year: approximately 1827. Location: Le Gras Estate, France. Process: heliography on pewter. Exposure time: approximately 6-8 hours. Current location: private collection. Last known: Rothschild family, 1980s. Context: after the success of View from the Window, Niepce wanted to photograph indoor objects, a controlled test. He arranged a table with dishes, a plaster statue, and a framed picture. The setup: camera, same camera obscura, now indoors. Lighting: sunlight through a window, south-facing. Plate: 6-8 centimeters pewter, bitumen coated. What the image shows: a white plaster bust, center, a round dish and glass bottle, left, a framed picture leaning against the wall, deep shadows and high contrast due to long exposure. Technical notes: shorter exposure than the window view, indoor light was stronger. Bitumen thickness varied, some areas over-hardened, creating halos. Survival rediscovery, 1839. Daguerre saw this plate during a visit to Niepce's widow. 1898. Sold at auction in Paris. 1920s. Acquired by a French collector. 1950s. Helmut Gernsheim photographed it. 1980s. Sold to the Rothschild family, not publicly exhibited since. Significance: first indoor photograph. Proves heliography worked on non-architectural subjects. A bridge between Niepce's outdoor experiments and Daguerre's studio work. Though rarely seen, this plate is photography's first still life. Section 4. The courtyard and buildings of Le Gras. Approximately 1827. Title: Courtyard and buildings of Le Gras. Creator: josephnicephoneniepce. Year: approximately 1827. Location: Le Gras Estate. Process: heliography. Exposure time: approximately 8 hours. Current status: lost or in private hands. Last seen 1952. Description: a wider view of Niepce's estate. A stone wall and gate. Outbuildings and trees. Sky completely burned out. Overexposed. Why it's lost. 1952. Helmut Gernsheim published a poor reproduction. After his death, 1992, the plate vanished from records. Rumors: sold in Switzerland or destroyed. Significance: shows Niepce's improving lens quality, sharper than the window view. Last known multiple building heliograph. A ghost in photography's attic. Section 5. L'Atelier de l'Artiste, the artist's studio, 1837. Title: L'Atelier de l'Artiste. Creator: louisdaguerre. Year: 1837. Location: Paris, France. Process: daguerreotype. Exposure time: approximately 10 minutes. Current location: Société Française de Photographie, Paris. Daguerre's breakthrough. After Niepce's death, Daguerre discovered mercury vapor development, a way to reveal latent images in seconds. Step by step, daguerreotype. Polish: silver-plated copper plate, buffed to mirror finish. Sensitize: exposed to iodine vapor, silver iodide. Expose: 10 minutes in camera. Develop: mercury vapor at 75 degrees Celsius. Fix: sodium thiosulfate, hypo. Tone: gold chloride for warmth. The image: plaster casts on shelves. A wicker basket and bottles. A framed picture with visible brush strokes. Mirror-like surface, typical of daguerreotypes. Survival: 1839. Daguerre gifted it to King Louis Philippe. 1850s. Transferred to the French state. 1970s. Restored after mercury damage. Significance: first detailed interior daguerreotype. Proves studio photography possible. Section 6. Boulevard du Temple, Paris, 1838. Title: Boulevard du Temple. Creator: Louis Daguerre. Year: late April 1838. Location: Paris. From Daguerre's studio window. Process: daguerreotype. Exposure time: 7-10 minutes. Current location: Bayerisches National Museum, Munich. The first humans. The street was busy, but only two figures appear. A man getting his shoes shined, bottom left. The shoe shiner. Everyone else moved too fast for the long exposure. Technical details. Lens. Wollaston meniscus. F14. Plate. 6.5 8.5 inches. Time of day. Morning. Shadows indicate approximately 8 a.m. Survival. 1839. Presented to King Ludwig I of Bavaria. 1978. Restored after plate corrosion. Significance. First photograph of a living person. Birth of street photography. Accidentally. Section 7. Early human portrait. 1837. Title. Portrait of a man, possibly self-portrait. Creator. Unknown. Daguerre or Hippolyte. Bayard. Circle. Year. 1837. Process. Daguerreotype. Exposure time. Approximately 10 minutes. Current location. Private collection. Last auction. 1999. The subject. A bearded man in a dark coat, head clamped, to stay still. Eyes wide open, staring for 10 minutes. Significance. First intentional human portrait. Required head restraints and bright sunlight. Section 8. The Open Door, 1840. Title. The Open Door. Creator. William Henry Fox. Talbot. Year. 1840. Location. Laycock Abbey, England. Process. Calotype. Paper negative. Exposure time. Approximately 1 minute. Current location. Science Museum, London. Talbot's process. Paper soaked in silver nitrate, brushed with potassium iodide, silver iodide, exposed in camera, developed in gallic acid, fixed in hypo. The image. A latticed wooden door ajar, broom leaning against the wall. Soft painterly tones. Significance. First negative positive print. Allowed multiple copies. Section 9. Self-portrait as a drowned man. 1840. Title. Self-portrait as a drowned man. Creator. Hippolyte Bayard. Year. October 1840. Process. Direct positive paper. Exposure time. Approximately 5 minutes. Current location. Bibliothèque Nationale de France. The staged protest. Bayard wrote on the back, "The corpse you see is that of Monsieur Bayard. The Academy, the King, and all those who have seen his images have admired them, but he has been left to drown." Significance. First staged fictional photograph. First photographic protest. Section 10. Nelson's Column under construction. 1844. Title. Nelson's Column under construction. Creator. William Henry Fox Talbot. Year. April 1844. Location. Trafalgar Square, London. Process. Calotype. Exposure time. Approximately 2 minutes. Current location. Metropolitan Museum of Art, New York. The image. Scaffolding around the unfinished column. Workers visible as blurs. Cranes and horses. Significance. First news. Documentary photograph. Shows urban change in real time. Section 11. The Ladder. Plate 6. The Pencil of Nature. 1844. Title. The Ladder. Creator. William Henry Fox. Talbot. Year. 1844. Location. Laycock Abbey. Process. Calotype. Exposure time. Approximately 1 minute. Current location. Various. Original book plates. The image. 3 men with a ladder against a wall. 1 man climbs, others watch. Published in The Pencil of Nature. First photo book. Significance. First photographic illustration. Proved photography could tell stories. Section 12. Conclusion. 10 plates. 10 moments. 10 fragments of light caught between 1826 and 1844. From Niepce's 8-hour vigil in a French attic to Talbot's 1-minute snapshot of workers in London, these images are not just pictures, they are proof. Proof that light can be tamed, proof that time can be sliced, proof that a new language was born. Today, billions of photographs are taken every day, but every one of them, every selfie, every satellite image, every medical scan, owes its existence to these 10 fragile artifacts.